You can see my lasagna. Yeah. Look at the layers in my lasagna. It's like that's my lunch. I can hardly wait. So let's get going and let's get cracking and make this lasagna. So there are many layers to this, obviously, with lasagna. And I don't know about you. You could tell me in the chat what you think about making lasagna. It's a bit tedious because there's lots of layers and lots of things you need to put together ahead of time so that you can do your layers. And so what I'm suggesting is that maybe you don't put it all together on the same day. You can do some things ahead and then just once everything's ready, put it together. So for me, I made my ricotta, my sunflower seed ricotta a couple of days ago. And I made my sauce yesterday. So putting it together today only took me 15 minutes. So this is one of the time tricks that you can use when you're looking at something that seems daunting. I know sometimes we're too tired to cook, but if you're inspired, you can do this over some time. So we are going to make a marinara sauce and we're cooking it in the, I'm going to call it the eat real to heal way. So this is, we're doing it long and low so that we preserve the nutrients in all of the vegetables. We're going to make the sunflower seed ricotta, and then we're going to do the lasagna. So stay tuned. Let me move you guys so that you can see on my kitchen counter, and we'll make our very easy, simple, easy to make marinara sauce. And I'm doing it in front of you. I didn't cut anything. All I did is wash my vegetables ahead of time because I want to show you just how simple it is. So I have a Dutch oven and it's got a stainless steel and it's got a good lid that fits tight because we're going to put the lid on to cook and we're not going to touch it while it's cooking. All right. So what we have is our base is tomatoes, and we've got carrot, red pepper, and some onion and garlic and seasoning. So let us get going. I'm going to start with the tomatoes. So these are, and I'm just going to tell you, I've got 4 big ones. So it'll be about, I would say 2 to 4, let's say 4 cups of tomato when you're done for this version. And you don't have to cut, you don't have to do a lot of prep. You don't have to cut it in nice small amounts. I'm just letting Juju in. And all I did is take the core out before. And I'm really, if you can't see, let me put this here. I'm really just doing very rough cuts of this tomato. I'm not doing anything major. So like maybe I'm cutting it into 6 pieces per slice. You don't have to, like I said, nothing precision. Keep the skins on because the skins are amazing nutrients. And tomatoes have lycopene, which is really great antioxidant for you. They're very good for you. Some people have heard that tomatoes are a nightshade and they're concerned that they're not good for you. And you may have, if you have a sensitivity to nightshades, that's one thing, but most people are okay, especially if you're cooking the tomatoes, then they actually have amazing nutrients to them and antioxidants and all that stuff. Like I said, it didn't take me long to cut my 4 big tomatoes. I have 1 carrot. I'm keeping the skin on. All I did is wash it, take off the ends. And I'm just going to cut it into slices, but again, I'm not being precise. I'm just cutting it into, these are like probably 1/2-inch slices. I'm going to add that in. I have some onion. And again, we're just going to, all I'm doing with the onion, let me put this one off and I can use that for my compost. I'm just taking the ends off. I'm going to cut it in half and then take off the peel. just like that. Easy way to do an onion. Put that in there. And then I'm literally just cutting 3 cuts. That's it, 2 cuts. So you don't need to make this really fine cut again. Take off the film there. And that's it. And I've got another onion as well. Or you could have 1 big onion. The onions that I got were all small, so I'm putting 2 in. Add in another onion here. Again,
I guess they're not strong.
Did you say something, Helene, or you were talking?
Are they strong?
Are they
They're
strong?
not
No,
strong.
not too bad. They're mild. I'm not crying, okay? I just cut them.
You need goggles and chew gum. That's a trick.
You
To
know
not
what
make it.
helps, although it doesn't always help, is to make sure your knife is sharp. That is a big deal for onions. Where did I put my, here it is. My kitchen cloth to wipe it off here. And then I'm just gonna do the pepper. So how I like to do peppers is to cut around the core. This one's kind of lopsided, but just cut around the core, and then you can keep the seeds all intact. And you can put the film in, like the membranes can go in, or you can take them out. I got that. There's just a little bit of membrane here, a couple of seeds. And then I just, again, rough cut. A couple of rough cuts here. Chop them up. Chop them up. There we go. Couple of cuts. And I'm going to throw this in my pot. And all I'm going to do is I have some garlic that I cut up already. Now I cut the garlic up early because if you've been watching me, you know that the first thing you should do is cut your garlic, because the enzymes, which are what give us, it's allicin, which gives us the beautiful antimicrobial and anti-cancer properties, that takes about 10 to 15 minutes for it to be available and draw that out. You have to cut it. If you cut it and then put it in everything and start cooking, I thought, especially if I'm blending a sauce up, that it would be okay because it's raw. But as soon as you put it with other ingredients, you lose that time that it's adjusting and getting that beautiful allicin available for us. And I've also got here a little bit of pepper, some oregano, and I always put garlic salt, garlic, onion, not salt, onion powder, garlic powder, a little extra. And then I've got some porcini mushroom powder that I've bought. That's an optional, but it adds a nice umami flavor. So I just dump that in. I'm going to stir it up so it gets on everything. And all I'm going to do is put this on the stove. And the long and low method, what you do is you put your lid on, you put it on the burner and turn the oven up to high. Now you can add a little bit of water on the bottom, but I find with the tomatoes that really gives a lot of it's fine because I've got the tomatoes. I'm just going to move this so I can put this on the burner here. I'm just going to put it on the burner. I'm putting I have an electric stove, so I'm going to put it on high and then turn it down to medium low once it starts to boil, once the lid is hot to touch. So I'm putting the timer on for 4 minutes so I don't lose track of it, because I got to tell you, ladies, earlier this week I was going to make a batch and be all ready. And I went and I put it on high and I was doing something and I got distracted. And then I went up to my room to take a phone call, and I'm in the middle of the phone call and I'm like, oh, that smells really fragrant so fast. And here I forgot to turn the heat down and it had been on high for about 15 minutes, which is not good.
Ugh.
So I had burnt marinara sauce the other day and had to start all over again. And if you are someone who has a gas stove, you have to watch even faster because gas really heats up fast. But also, you I think with gas, you may need a diffuser so it doesn't get too hot, but even if you turn it down to low, it might be too hot. And a diffuser, like I think you can buy them on Amazon for very little money. And they're the diffusers are just like a little plate, a little aluminum or something plate that goes on that keeps the heat from coming through so strong. But I've never had, if I put this on low on my stove, which is electric, it's maybe a little bit too low. So I never needed a diffuser for my stuff. Okay. So that's our marinara going. So it's on high and I've got my timer on so I don't let it burn. I've done that twice. I did a demo and I forgot to put the timer on and it burnt. Yay. And I've got now my ricotta to make. So what I did for the ricotta is I have sunflower seeds today. I'm going to use sunflower seeds. You can use cashews. You can do a half and half cashews and sunflower seeds. If you have an allergy to nuts, you may want tree nuts. You may want to use the sunflower seeds are a great option. And the other thing is that if you're looking for economical, definitely sunflower seeds are a lot more economical than cashews are these days. Now, I soaked my my sunflower seeds. I did a cup and a half. So I like a nice layer of my ricotta, not a thin layer. So I've done a cup and a half of sunflower seeds that are soaked. And the reason we soak them, as always, is that nuts and seeds have enzyme inhibitors that you have to watch those enzyme inhibitors are to keep the seeds and nuts from rotting, and they're coating them. So when you want to soak them to get that coating off, because that coating is hard for us to digest. It's almost like an anti-nutrient, and it makes the food less bioavailable to go into our system and do all those beautiful things. Now here is some of my soaking water. This is pretty dirty. And what I also found, okay, perfect timing. I'm turning it down to a medium low on my stove now. And you want to leave the lid on so that it keeps the steam in and keeps it cooking. Now, that's for your marinara sauce. So for the sunflower seed, what I found is I had lots of pieces of shell that floated to the top that I got to pick out. Definitely recommend that you soak 3 to 4 hours is good for sunflower seeds. If you're really in a hurry because you forgot, you can add boiling hot water to them and that will get them soaked faster and soften them up, which is one of the reasons we soak them. But I really recommend trying to plan ahead for this. So I've got the sunflower seeds in there. I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of lemon juice to that. I have garlic. So when I cut up my garlic, I've got that. Hang on, that looks like, no, it's not a skin. I'm okay. Hang on, I don't want anything that I don't want in there. All right. So I've got a couple of cloves of garlic that I'm going to add. And again, I cut them up ahead of time so that the enzymes have a chance to formulate and give us all those great properties. I'm going to put a couple of teaspoons of Dijon mustard in there. I'm just going to do a heap of Dijon mustard. And then I'm going to add some spices. So for my spices, I've got nutritional yeast here, about 1/4 of a cup. And then I have garlic, onion powder, and garlic powder, pepper, and some oregano as well. I'm going to put that in there. And you can add a little bit of water if you need. So I'm going to I forgot to get my tamper out. You probably need the tamper for your Vitamix if you have one. I'm going to get the tamper out and a little bit of water just in case. All right. We'll probably need a little bit of water as well. Now, what I'm going to do is start this off, and it's probably going to get clunky. You'll have a tamper or something that comes with your blender, or your Vitamix definitely comes with a tamper. And you want to use the one that comes, each one comes with a different tamper. You want to use the one that comes with your Vitamix or your blender, because they're designed so that you don't end up hitting the blades the size of it is. Now I have two containers. I like this one for sauces and things. It's got a narrower base. I also have a wider base version. They're both the same size. They hold 64 ounces, but this one is narrower and taller. So I find it's more efficient for sauces. So let's get going. With the Vitamix, you'll notice when you're blending that it starts getting a vortex in towards the blades. I'm going to add a little bit of water for liquid, not too much. And I'm going to scrape down the sides here. And then what happens is it blends for a while and then it gets stuck. And then I'm going to use the tamper if it gets stuck again. So let's try it again. Should be good. So what ended up happening, and I'm going to use my tamper, is right away it got stuck and it's not getting that vortex. So I'm going to use my tamper because that will help to get the stuff moving. Just going to add a little bit more liquid right now in here where the tamper is. That should be good.
Yes, it does. It looks creamy. We need to thin it out with some water.
Yeah, I could thin it out. I don't want to thin it too much because this one, I got it to go and I got my vortex. Actually, I'm going to show you what it looks like here. You can see the vortex in the middle. And I want it to be fairly thick, but you could thin it out a bit. And it's really up to you what you want from a perspective. I'm going to taste it. Yeah, it's pretty thick. Mm, yum. You get that little, what do you call it? It's creamy now. You want to make sure it's
Bring some over to me.
you get that little pucker with the lemon, which is great. You get a little lemon power in it. So there we have our ricotta. And I recommend also, if you make it ahead, then it gives the chance for the flavors to meld and develop. So if you make it ahead and put it in the fridge for a day or two, it's going to be perfect. So I'm going to put that to the side. And then we're going to come back to our marinara. When our marinara is done, hang on, I'm going to add OJ in here. Our marinara is going to be really chunky because of the way we cooked it. We didn't cook it on like a simmer. We cooked it on a low heat. So you can see here that my marinara, cooked marinara, is very chunky. I still have the carrots are still chunky and the tomatoes. So what I'm going to do is put it in the blender. There's another way to use your blender. So this is a batch I cooked up yesterday. And I'm just going to put that in the blender. Oh, I can add, if you want a little extra umami taste, which is nice. I didn't put any salt in, but you can add some miso. I'm going to add a little bit of miso. And the miso will give it a little bit of umami flavor. I'm just going to add like a heaping teaspoon here. I'm just going to add that in.
What does that taste like?
It tastes pretty salty. So this miso is the white organic soy miso. You can buy it. This one's organic. I would recommend, if you're buying miso that's soy, I recommend you buy organic, period, but definitely miso and non-GMO, because soybeans are one of the crops that have been, I guess, genetically engineered and modified to withstand the pesticides that they're putting on the conventional farming crops. And you don't want those pesticides. So and that genetically modified does not work. It's like our body has a key to the nutrients it's looking for. And the genetically modified foods do not fit the key of what our body is looking for. And they are definitely not good for us, as we have found out. Plus, it's all with the pesticides. And I'm pretty passionate about this pesticide thing now. For some of you might know that my daughter was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma when she was 5 years old. She has just had her 34th birthday recently, so she is doing well. And we're really happy for how our outcome was with her going through her cancer treatment. But they told us they didn't know what caused the cancer, this non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. But I have been researching and there is a strong link between non-Hodgkin's lymphoma for adults and children and the pesticides that are on our foods. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that umami flavor, and we're going to blend this up too. So here we go.
How do you make your own, Juju?
Sorry?
Juju, I wrote she makes her own.
Oh, she makes her own miso?
Yeah.
Yeah, try that.
How do you make it? What's the recipe?
Now you can leave a little bit of chunkiness in your marinara if you would like. I've blended mine up, so it's fine here. So it's pretty thick, but I'm good with that. I don't want it too runny. And what I was going to say with the miso, you can make miso with other things like chickpeas. The only place I found to buy chickpea miso was online. I did not find it in my grocery store at all. So if you do not want, or you have an allergy to soy, you can look for chickpea, or you can make your own. Juju, that's a challenge for me to make my own miso. That sounds like a good challenge. Now we're going to put our lasagna together. I've got my stuff to go. All my ingredients. Here's my ricotta. Put everything else to the side. Now I've sliced up some potatoes using a mandolin into thin. These are Yukon Gold potatoes. And I've also sliced up some zucchini. And with the zucchini, I've added a little bit of salt on the layers, which I will take off because zucchini is very hydrating and a lot of liquid. So the salt draws out some of the liquid. So it's a little better. Now, I do have my mandolin here. Got this here. My mandolin, where did I put my mandolin? I have my mandolin here. Ah. So this is a mandolin, if you haven't seen one here. And so what this, you have to be very careful. I honestly don't use it a lot. I was very leery of them because you can really slice your fingers off. But what you can do, I'm going to put it and do a little demo. I've got a potato, and all I'm going to do, I'll do one slice with the potato. Watch your fingers, very careful, just to get the base set. And then from there, I have a protector. So always use that protector when you're doing your using the mandolin. So it has little stab things on the end that I can stab into the potato so that the potato will stick. And then I can just run it up and down and make sure my fingers are on the top side of the protector. You don't want them on the bottom. And then when it gets to the end, I just try to push it through, again, using the protector. So I'm getting better at the mandolin, so it's a great tool. And then I've got all these beautiful potato slices. And I can do the same thing with the zucchini. I can slice it lengthwise here and then put some salt on it. This one's softer for the protector. And just run it up and down. And when it gets to the bottom, just guide it through if you can. And this one's thick, and I'll give that to my dogs because they love it.
Really? Dogs can eat zucchini?
Yeah, my dogs eat most vegetables. The only vegetables my dogs don't eat, grapes are not good for them. Grapes are poisonous for them. And they eat lots of stuff. They eat cabbage, parsley, all sorts of things. It's all good for them. It's like I put it as a topper on top of their meal. So I have I'm just doing a little dish. You can actually do a bigger baking dish, like a 9 by 11 baking dish. But I just got a little one here to do a demo. So I'm going to start now. We can layer our lasagna. So you can have all this ready so that you just have to do that. So you can make one day you could make your ricotta. Then the next day you could make your marinara, and then the next day you can make your lasagna. And then it's not so onerous. I'm going to put a little layer of marinara sauce on the bottom. I've got some marinara sauce on the bottom. Then I'm going to add a layer of the sliced potatoes here. And I'm going to double them up. They don't have to be, they can overlap with each other. You can be generous there. Okay. So I've got my potatoes on. I'll put one in the middle here. I'm going to add some of my ricotta. And this one I had in the fridge. I made the batch, so I've got to have more lasagna or something. So I'm going to add a nice generous amount of ricotta. So I'll end up with 2 layers of ricotta. And pretty much 2 layers is what I'll do. And just spread that around. I have a little bit of spinach. This spinach is just frozen spinach that I've thawed out, and I wrung it out, like I got rid of all the liquid by just wringing it out, like literally like doing this with my hands in the sink. So I've got a little bit of ricotta, some spinach. Now I'm going to add some zucchini, and I'm just going to run my fingers down the zucchini to get rid of some of the liquid that's on them and the salt as well. So these were soaked in, like, I just did a little sprinkle of salt so that we could you can see, I think you can see all the liquid coming off. And there, and then I got a couple to go the other way on my thing. And again, you can overlap this. Now I'm going to add, so I've got my zucchini on. Gonna add another layer of my pasta sauce, my marinara. And just do it all over again. Add some potatoes. And the potatoes give it the nice body. If you're missing the pasta, you don't want to eat pasta because it's processed food and it's got wheat in it and all that stuff. You can always do this. And so I've got my potato layer, add a layer of my ricotta. And again, I'm going to be generous because I like it that way. It's up to you. Ooh, I love it. Yum. I got my ricotta, add my spinach, and Helene, what I'll do if I don't use up all the spinach, I'll give the leftover spinach. I'll put it in the dog's food for their dinner tonight. But I think I'm going to use it all up. But if I don't, that's what I'll do.
Just use it. It's good for you.
Yeah, it's good for us. Now, spinach is high in oxalates. Now I'm going to add another layer here of zucchini. Spinach is high in oxalates. So some people, if you're prone to things like kidney stones, the spinach is not the best to eat raw, but it's okay when you cook it. It's better cooked if you're concerned about the high oxalates. The other thing is the recommendation is not to eat spinach, like a lot of spinach every day, it's raw spinach. And spinach is a great vegetable to add to a sauce. I could add it to this sauce because you can just throw a couple of handfuls of spinach in and they shrink down so you can hardly tell that they're there. And they add some bonus nutrients without overpowering your dish, or in some cases you hardly even notice it's there. It just adds a little color to it. So I've got one more slice for my lasagna. Zucchini. Then I'm going to add my potatoes next. I'm going to add but I want to make sure the potatoes are covered because the last one I didn't cover the potatoes and they curled up and got dry. But I like to end up, if I'm doing a lasagna, I like to end off with the potato layer. I'm going to add some potatoes. And my oven is at 350 for this. Yeah, put another potato. And I'm just going to add the rest of the sauce. Now, if you make enough sauce, you can have some leftover sauce for some other thing. You could double up on the sauce and make something else. So next week, we're going to do a meatball, some lentil meatballs, and we're going to use some more of the same marinara sauce that we used this week. So you can double up so you can use it for a couple of things. And there is my lasagna. You can see the layers. I'm going to put that in the oven. What I'm going to do is I use 350 for baking because that's where you get you keep the nutrients intact. As you get higher in your oven temperature, you start to lose the nutrients and change the composition. So I've got a piece of foil. I'm going to add it to the top and put this in the oven for about half an hour. Then uncover it for another half hour or so, and then then let it rest and it will be done. Yum! All right. Let me just move some of this off to the side. I don't know if there's any questions. I'm going to come check out the chat here in a second. And I'm going to bring my lasagna that I made earlier here. I'm just going to
I want some. That looks good.
Just clean that off a little bit. I have my plate. The sauce was on the plate, but that's okay. Hopefully it'll work. Hang on, I got somebody joining.
No, they're late.
That's okay.
And they missed it.
They missed it, but they can watch it online. Oh, what am I doing? I'm trying to do it on the screen. I got to use my, okay. Here's my Nice. I'm just going to cut a piece of this lasagna. And cut it in half. The first piece is always the hardest to get out. Let's see what happens here. It's coming. Yum. A big piece of lasagna. Ooh, with all the layers on it. All right. Very good. All right, so if you joined us late, we've made a little zucchini and potato lasagna here. Just gonna take a bite. Try and take a smaller bite. Oh, the flavor burst. Yum. It does have a lot of flavor. It held its shape more or less. This is the first piece, so always the first piece is the worst. All right. Let me look at the chat. Oh, yeah. So Juju says, hang on, that she did. So Juju, when she made her miso, she used different types of beans, chickpeas and sometimes red beans. So you can use different ones. You can use cashew nuts to make the ricotta too. Yes, definitely. And I did the ricotta with a mix of cashews and sunflower seeds, and it's great. And Juju also said she did a raw vegan lasagna but didn't bake it. Yes, and they put it in the refrigerator to lock in the flavors. Oh yes, so good. I have done that as well. You can take your zucchini and all of your things and you can make your marinara sauce without cooking it and then just layer everything on it. Oh my God, so good. Great idea. We were in Lisbon in Portugal and we went to a raw vegan restaurant and had someone at our table had the raw lasagna and I was like kicking myself. I didn't have that. It looked so good. And okay, Juju also says you can drink lots of water to wash out the oxalates. And yes, I love it. It's good. It's a great option for lasagna when you're not eating pasta. And we're promoting reducing our processed foods. And I love pasta, and this is an option to have something good and you don't miss the pasta. All right. Any other questions
I like pasta.
or comments?
I like pasta.
I love pasta too.
I made I shouldn't have done it, but the other day I made a big batch of, what's it called? The capellini and
Oh yeah.
the spaghettini.
Uh-huh. That
I use yeah.
I love that stuff, but and it's so easy for that to be the go-to, but these are some things. Oh, Juju, you're right. I didn't put the recipe in the chat. Thanks
Yeah, you didn't put it. I am great pasta lover too, Juju.
Yeah, I love pasta. Oh my
I
God.
also KD too. I've eaten a lot of Kraft macaroni and cheese.
We have. I got the vegan KD when I went to a women's vegan summit last year. They had Kraft was there promoting their vegan KD. So I brought it home for the kids.
Is it good?
I don't know. They didn't tell me whether it was good.
Wait, do you have it still?
I have some, but it's hard to find in the stores here. Oh, here it is.
I want to go to maybe they'll have it at the women's show in November downtown.
I don't know. They say no artificial dyes. I do not promote this, by the way.
What is that?
Oh, great idea. Oh, you know what? Putting your own pesto sauce on this would also boost it up. Great idea, Juju. I love that. The other thing that you can do, I'm not promoting the KD, but is add a balsamic vinaigrette reduction that you could put on it. Ooh, so yummy. And the other thing that's in the recipe that I did not make today, oh, I forgot to put, you can put to really make your your ricotta creamy, you can add coconut yogurt to it. So I did plan on adding the coconut yogurt and then I forgot. My goodness. It makes it creamier. So that's a great way to make things creamier. But it's good without it too. I don't have any issue with it the way it is. And the other thing I did is a Caesar salad that you can add. And the dressing is using the coconut yogurt and some other things like nutritional yeast, a little bit of Dijon mustard, lemon, and garlic to make your Caesar salad dressing that is creamy. And it's so easy. You just put everything into your measuring cup and stir it up, and you've got your Caesar dressing.
Really?
Another thing. So, yeah, I put
Wow.
the recipe in the
Where is it? I
company, but I
can't.
didn't make it for you today. All right. So
Where is the recipe? Okay, here.
the
Let me
link is
see.
there. If you didn't see the link, I'll add it again.
Yeah, I have it.
Everyone,
And it's my
enjoy.
email.
I love Fridays. I eat well on Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, have a
When
great
are
weekend, everyone.